Hi, this is Travis with Two Brothers Adventures. We're going to do some boiling tests, time tests with the Kettle. This is the 20-ounce version of the Kettle. First, we're going to use some pine cones and paper. As you can see, it's completely cool. We're going to let it cool down between each boil. That way we get a fair comparison. This is just room temperature water. I already have the pot filled. I have it corked off because I'm going to take and start with putting the paper in here. And then I'm going to put the pine cones up through the center, up in there, place it on the base. Always make sure when you're going to boil it that you pull the cork out. And I'll go ahead and start the paper. And I'll start the timer.
You might have to give her a little blow there, brother. After this gets going, it creates a nice chimney effect and a good draw for your air through those two little draw holes. But sometimes, especially like when you start with a lot of material in there, like those pine cones, it kind of impedes that draft a little bit. The pine cones are notoriously a little harder to get started, so sometimes you have to give it a little help. Just blow a little oxygen into the draft holes there. Looks like we got a good flame going now. Yeah, those pine cones are just a little tough to get started. We're getting flames out the top now, though. One of the tricks with these kettles that we've found out is that to speed your boil time up, you have to get the fuel source up through the center of the kettle. So that means like a little bit longer sticks, or like my brother just did, he puts in 3 pine cones to kind of bring the flames up through the center of the pot. Because if you got flames licking out the top, that means you're heating the whole inside of that pot. And that's the whole design of the Kettle, is that there's a lot of surface area down through the center of that to heat the water quick. It's just a thin layer of water, and that heat gets in there and heats it pretty quick. As you can see, we're just hitting 2 minutes, but these pine cones are a little tough to get going, so it might take just a little bit longer than usual. But
Which we were expecting with the pine cones.
Right, and it just shows you the versatility of the fuel sources. There's a lot of people that are, leave no trace type backpackers, campers, stuff like that. This doesn't leave any, black ring or soot or anything on the ground. You can dig a little cat hole and put the ashes in and cover it over, and nobody's ever going to know that you were there. You don't have to break any twigs off trees or pick up any, deadfall on the ground. Even you can just pick up pine cones and use it to boil your water for your meal.
Any bubbles yet? No? Just hit 3 minutes.
Alright, so we got a boil with the pine cones. We didn't add any more. There's only just the 3 pine cones. As you see, it took about 5 minutes, 20 seconds. And we got a little bit too much light, brother. There you go. You can see that's a good rolling boil in there. And still got plenty of fuel coming out the top. Took a little bit for those pine cones to get going, and that's why the boil time's up a little bit. But still, with just 3 pine cones, as you can see, that's boiling.
And if you want to pull off and show how much fuel's still there?
Yeah. Now the one thing you got to watch with these kettles is if you take this off as soon as it starts to boil, sometimes you got some unburnt fuel down in the center there. As you can see, you could leave that burning for quite a bit more, get that water super hot, but I mean it was boiling. Good rolling boil at less than 5.5 minutes. So anyways, that's the pine cones.
Okay, now we're going to do a time test. We're going to use just a single piece of paper and 2 fatwood sticks. And we'll time to see how long it takes this to be boiled. This is fully cooled down, so it's not hot at all. It's completely cool. This is full of water again, but completely cool. So unlike when I did the pine cones, I'm going to just drop the fatwood in once the paper gets going. Okay, I'm going to start the timer. And I'm going to drop the fatwood sticks in. Fatwood's already starting to catch, coming up the middle now. And there's our big flames out the top. It's only been 30 seconds.
The fatwood catches a lot quicker than the pine cones does.
And we expect the boil time on this to be significantly lower. Okay, so it's been about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. As you can see, these 2 little fatwood sticks really putting off a good flame. The water's starting to bubble. Not quite at a rolling boil, but it's definitely starting to get hot. So I'm guessing within the next 30 seconds to a minute we'll have a full rolling boil. You can already see it now, starting to bubble good. It looks like 2 minutes 45 seconds. So one thing my brother taught me that I didn't know, so I'll show you. Now when this is burning, the flames are coming up out of the center like that. So we're going to want to pour this so this handle doesn't get hot. So the secret is to grab this handle and, oh, we're spilling water out, and hold it like this at a 90-degree angle. That way, and then you can take it off so you don't get burned, and then we can pour it. So that was the paper and 2 fatwood sticks. So that was about 2 minutes, 2:30, 2:45.